Hello, and welcome to the educational segment of the show that I'm forced to do to keep the show going. On my head. Hands off me.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Marian Nicholson, and I will be your host today.
Of course you're the host. You have no friends.
Shut up. Get back to the dressing room, too.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Don't mind that. Today's topic will be Snick.
Snickers? Did someone say Snickers?
I eat them when I'm happy. I eat them when I'm sad. I eat them when I'm angry.
It's okay, Snickers. I'm coming for you.
No. Can you go get her checked out, please?
Miss, you're coming with me.
No, Snickers. Snickers.
No, miss.
Snickers.
Sorry, miss.
I'll be
You're
back
coming
for you, Snickers.
Anyway, SNCC. Let's start with the basic info, shall we? SNCC is a student nonviolent coordinating committee that was created to give the Black youth a stronger voice in the civil rights movement. I mean, sure, there was Martin Luther King Jr., and God bless his heart, but his words didn't really hit the younger people as hard as it hit the older people. So, a group of kids attending Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina decided to start their own committee in 1960. SNCC participated in the various Montgomery boycotts, played a crucial role in protests such as Freedom Riders, 1963 March on Washington, and the Mississippi Freedom Summer, and greatly impacted American politics. Whew! That was a lot. Water! Take it. Now you're probably wondering, who is the face behind all of this? Well, that's easy. Ella Baker. Now you're probably thinking, if the first meeting was monitored by Reverend James Lawson and attended by Diane Nash, John Lewis, Marion Barry, Bernard Lafayette, and James Bevel, who were part of the 126 student delegates in the organization, then who the heck is Ella Baker?
Bruh, nobody's thinking that. I'm just here for that good Popeyes.
Shut up. Anywho, although the people I mentioned earlier were a few of the members of SNCC, only a few of them plus some went down in history as the founders of SNCC. Ella Baker, Diane Nash, Bernard Lafayette, Charles Sherrod, and Julian Bond. Let's start with Ella Baker, the mother of civil rights. Ella Josephine Baker was born in Norfolk, Virginia, 1903, and her grandmother used to tell her stories about when she was a slave.
They whooped me for not marrying a man of their choice.
Like mama does me when I get in trouble?
Nah, baby. That's a slap of a wrist. They whooped me till I turned red.
Why'd you let them, Grandma?
Because I stood up for what I believe in. That's why. I had pride, and I will forever fight for my freedom.
Oh. This inspired Ella, and when she moved to North Carolina, she capitulated her urge to try to fix the broken world. She started in New York, serving as a secretary and director of the branches for the NAACP in the 1940s. Then, inspired by the Montgomery boycotts, Ella co-founded the organization in friendship to raise money to fight against Jim Crow laws in 1955. In 1957, Ella moved to Atlanta to help Martin Luther King with the organization of SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Finally, in 1960, Ella moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, where a group of Black students attending North Carolina A&T University refused to leave a lunch without being served.
Excuse me, but you have to leave.
I'm not leaving until you serve me.
Then I'm calling the police.
Do it. I'll stay here for as long as you decide not to serve me. Hands off me. Wow. Ella Baker was impressed and inspired by their act and left SCLC after the Greensboro sit-ins to help the youth such as herself fight justice. She organized a meeting at her new school, Shaw University, and for the leaders of the sit-ins and gave a speech about hamburgers. The Student Leadership Conference made it crystal clear that current sit-ins and other demonstrations are concerned with something much bigger than a hamburger or even a giant-sized Coke. We want the world to know that we no longer accept the inferior position of second-class citizenship. We are willing to go to jail, be ridiculed, spat upon, and even suffer physical violence to obtain first-class citizenship. By and large, this feeling that they have a destined date with freedom was not limited to a drive for personal freedom, or even freedom for the Negro in the South. Repeatedly, it was emphasized that the movement was concerned with the moral implications of racial discrimination for the whole world and the human race. Woo! And thus a star was born. And I guess Nick started too. I don't know.
Please, I'm tired. Where's the chicken? Oh.
Next up, Diane Nash. Diane Judith Nash was born in 1938, Chicago, Illinois. Diane attended Howard University, HBCU, and transferred to the University of Nashville, Tennessee in 1959, where she witnessed intense segregation. Because I grew up in Chicago, I didn't have an emotional relationship with segregation. I knew the facts and the stories, but there was no emotional relationship. Diane Nash was heartbroken from the sight and decided to join SNCC, in which she was later designated chairperson of the student sit-in in Nashville of 1960. Although Diane participated in all of SNCC's protests, such as freedom rides where she recruited new riders and alerted the press of their efforts, Nash later moved to Mississippi to become a full-time activist for SCLC. However, Diane distinctively played a major role in Selma voting rights campaign. She headed SCLC campaigns to register people to vote to desegregate schools, which later led to the Voting Rights of 1965. Listen, freedom, by definition, is realizing that you're your own leader. If a white man hits you, don't hit him back. Stand your ground.
But Miss Diane, but I'm scared.
I know.
I don't want
But there's source of power in each of us until we realize there's source of power in each of us that we don't realize until we take responsibility. You'll be okay. Okay, it's okay. Come on.
Hey, you. Stop right there. You're under arrest for teaching people's violence. With me. Oh, please.
Please do it for the family. All right, guys, that was a handful. Time for a commercial break, right?
We no longer have time
What?
for that. You're going over time.
You're joking.
No, you speed it up, please. Thanks.
Okay. I got this. You got this? I got this. Okay. Bernard Lafayette Jr., an activist, minister, taught at Harvard, was the principal of Tuskegee High School, lecturer, author, authoritative strategist on nonviolent social change, earned a BA for American Baptist Theological Seminary in Nashville, Tennessee, and his EDM and EDD from Harvard University. I mean, this man was chasing the bag. But what we're really here for is his role in SNCC. He was the co-founder, the chairman. He led the Nashville movement in 60, freedom rides in 61, and the Selma movement with Diane Nash in 65. Lafayette led the voter registration in Alabama in 1962 and was appointed national program minister for SCLC. He was a leader and wrote books that taught people how to lead too.
But nonviolence is based on agape, the Greek definition of love, which means that you love expecting nothing in return. It's a love that's not reciprocal. It's not the basis of it. Exchange, equal exchange. You love me, I love you. You don't love me, then I don't love you. No. This agape has to do with something that's much more powerful. And in fact, it's regenerated based on the ability to give. That you give only to gain, but you gain more to give. But it's not reciprocal in the sense that you gain from those that you give to, but rather within itself become self-generative. So the concept then of nonviolence is based on this type of love.
All right, guys, that was a handful. I think I'm gonna take a breather. You, come read my lines.
Bro, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, that's fine. Do it.
Alright.
Okay, Charles Sherrod became SNCC full-time secretary in 1961. He helped lead sit-ins and alongside Diane Nash was arrested in South Carolina.
Diane Nash got arrested a lot. Actually, they all got arrested a lot.
Although Sherrod is best known as direct contribution in SNCC, he carried the name as he and a colleague started a Avenue movement in Georgia, whilst he also campaigned for voters' registration rights and desegregation of schooling.
Thank you. You were fine. Get out.
Oh.
Lastly, but surely not least, we have Julian Bond. Horace Julian Bond, also known as Julian Bond.
James Bond.
No, I said Julian. Anyway, Bond was the youngest of the crew, being born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee in 1940. Like many others, the Greenboro sit-ins enlightened Julian and caused him to participate in many more protests. However, what truly inspired him was Ella Baker's more than a hamburger speech given at SNCC's first meeting. It gave him and many others a deeper understanding of the political issues Black African Americans were facing. He started working full-time for SNCC as their communications director and editor for their newspaper, The Student Voice, which played an important role in voter registration campaigns. In 1965, Bond ran for Georgia State Legislator and went from door to door asking the voters what they wanted in a legislator because he wanted people to feel like they had a voice in the government.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Julian Bond.
Julian Bond won, but was refused a seat in the House due to SNCC's opposition to the Vietnam War. He ran again, won, and was still refused a seat for the second time. But by his third victorious election in 1967, Julian Bond was sworn in and finally given his rightful seat as the legislator. He opened many doors for other Black representatives.
We're done?
Yeah.
Wait, we're actually done?
Yeah. We'll let Mr. Bond wrap this up.
This organization was described another way by former President Jimmy Carter, who told Mary King, if you want to scare white people in Southwest Georgia, Martin Luther King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference wouldn't do it. You only had to say one word, SNCC. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee was founded in 1960 by Southern student protesters engaged in sit-in demonstrations against lunch counter segregation. Within a year, the organization evolved from a coordinating to a hands-on agency, helping local leadership in rural and small-town communities participate in a variety of protest and political and organizing campaigns, all of which sets SNCC apart from the civil rights mainstream of the 1960s. By 1965, SNCC fielded the largest staff of any civil rights organization operating in the South. It had organized nonviolent direct action against segregated facilities and voter registration campaigns in Alabama, Arkansas, Maryland, Missouri, Louisiana, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Illinois, North and South Carolina, Georgia, and Mississippi. It had built 2 independent political parties. It had organized labor unions and agricultural cooperatives. It gave the movement for women's liberation new energy. It helped expand the limits of political debate within Black America, and it broadened the focus of the civil rights movement. Unlike mainstream civil rights groups, which merely sought the integration of blacks into the existing order, SNCC sought structural changes in American society itself.
And that, my friends, is the formation of SNCC. Today we learned the founders and their contributions, the achievements of SNCC, and what impacts it had on American politics.
Mommy said you're not giving me Popeyes.
Huh?
Give me my Popeyes.
No, stop.
I haven't eaten it.
And that, my friends,
I need my chicken.
is that the segment. We'll see you next time.